So guys, in this video we are going to exploit this SCH overflow, let's say Varna server, and we are going to download this Varna server. I have already downloaded this, and you go to github.com and Stephen Bradshaw Varna server. All credit goes to this author who have made this Varna server, and we can exploit this Varna server SCH overflows using this Varna server. It's just for practice. Now if you go to C file, you can see now there is a command called gmon. So the gmon should be have a forward slash. Okay, now just remember that forward slash for now. I have already set up this binary. Just download this zip file and then extract this. You will have this vanaserver.exe, and also paste this ESS_func.error in the same folder. Make sure that they both are in the same folder. Now my binary is running, and I written a simple Python script just to connect and get the banner. Now I am going to run this script. Now it says welcome to vulnerable server, enter help for help. So now let me send help instead of payload. So we have sent the help, but we did not get any message. We need to say /r/n, maybe. Just give it a try. I'm so sorry, I'm not receiving the message. I'm so sorry for this. I have to receive the message from the server, right, after sending this help message. So now we have got the help page. It says that varied commands, help, stats, rtime, ltime, etc. So all these commands you can practice the exploitation. Now we are going to see this gmon. Gmon contains the SCH overflows. So what we can do is gmon space value, right? Now let me go ahead and say gmon space and say junk. So guys, now I'm not going to use this any fuzzer like boofers because it will take so much time, and I just showing you can just perform this gmon space and the static, and you can put that, and you can just use the boofers fuzzer. So let me check if the binary is overflowing. So we did not overflow this one. So what we can do is we can put forward slash in this and say some characters. So now we are going to overflow this binary. So even if you use the any boofers fuzzer, you will get this one gmon press this forward slash and some characters. So we did not overflow this binary. Let's increase the payload to 3000. Yes. Still we did not get overflow, so let's say 5000. Yes, and there you can see our application has been overflow. So now it's also EIP overflow. Now let's go ahead and check this SEH. Click on view SEH chain. You can see our this SEH chain has been overflowed with yes. This is in a hexadecimal format 41 in the ASCII it means here. Now right click and follow address in stack, and as you can see the SEH handler and pointer to next SEH record. Now we need to find the at what offsets these exactly are going to be overwritten. So what we are going to do is we are going to restart this binary, and instead of 5000 yes we will send 5000 unique pattern. So now let's go ahead and use this MSF pattern create, and let's say a length of 5000. So let me go ahead and paste this one. Copy selection and go to our script, and let's say a new variable pattern. So now I will send the pattern instead of this junk. I think my binary is restarted. Oh yes, it's running. Now let's go ahead and run this binary. Now as you can see there is our pattern filled up in the application. Let's go ahead and view this SEH chain, and there you go, some random pattern. Let's go and follow address in the stack, and you can see the SEH channel is this one. The contents, let me copy to the clipboard and just paste it in the comments. And now let's also copy this pointer to next SEH record and paste it in our comments. So now we need to find the offset of this. Let's copy this and go to our Kali Linux machine, MSF pattern offset and -q for query, and this one, and we got the offset at 3499, right? So this one is 3499. Obviously this will be 3495. Just to confirm this, we'll copy this one and we'll query for this string also. So we have got exactly the offsets of this SEH and next SEH record. So one important thing you need to notice is you will write this SEH handler with address of pop return, and after the pop the execution goes to this next SEH handler. So after this we need to jump to this address and execute our shellcode, but as you can see there are only few bytes here. We cannot put the shellcode, or we cannot put the egg hunter also. So we have already seen theory of the egg hunter, and egg hunter is a small piece of code that searches for shellcode and jumps to that shellcode. So we cannot press the egg hunter also. So now the solution is, from this point we jump backwards. So from short jumping around video, you can see you can also jump backwards using the negative values. So if you jump backwards here, like say 50 bytes here, and from here onwards we will execute the egg hunter. So this egg hunter will searches the shellcode and executes that. So where we have to press the shellcode, so there is so much value in here. We can just press the shellcode at the starting of this gmon command. So I hope you have understood. So we are pressing, we need to identify this pop return sequence. and then put this in SEH handler, and we going to return to this point, and then we jump backwards and execute egg hunter, and that egg hunter executes our shellcode. So let me restart this one. So let me write this ES as 3499, and let's say 3495, and then next SEH. I say NSEH, which stands for next SEH. Let's say 4 Bs into 4, because the 4 bytes, the 32-bit operating system, right? 4 bytes, and SEH is equals to, let's say, Cs into 4. Okay, now we have got this one. Let's say junk2 is equals to, let's say, capital D into 5000 minus length of these three combined, just as in the previous video, like in the previous Stack Overflow video. So now we are going to send all this one combinedly instead of this pattern. These junk bytes will fill up to this NaCH, and then we will fill up the NaCH plus and SEH. So now let's go ahead and restart. So it's running. So let's run our script. So there may be error in our script. So junk press NaCH press SEH press junk2. We forgot the junk2. So it has overflown. Now let's go and view the SEH chain. As you can see, there are C's. Let's go and follow this address in stack. So we have perfectly found the offsets and overwritten precisely the SEH handler and NaCH record. You can see the C's and B's. Now we need to restart this one. We need to find the addresses of the pop return sequences. So to do that, we can use mona say SEH. Now this mona will automatically find the SEH sequences like pop operate, which are useful for SEH. View log, and you can see these are all the results we can see. And there is, you can also see the security mitigations false, and you can choose this ESS func.dll. So I think this will be the good one. Let's copy this. So as you can see, there are some null bytes over here. You can see 0x00402673. So you don't need to consider this one. This one is fine, right? So let's go ahead and paste this in a comment. Pop rate. Now what I want to do is, we are going to place this address instead of this SEH in the Lithuanian byte order. Let's say B4, and the next one is 10, and the next one is 50, and next one is 62. So we are overwriting SEH with this address pop operate, and after this pop operate we will jump back to this NaCH, and the code at this point gets executed. So for now, let's keep the breakpoint. This is /xcc. In CC in the hexadecimal stands for breakpoint. Whenever it has been hit, the program stops. So now let's go ahead and see this in action. View CPU, and let's go ahead and run this. So we have got this access violation when writing to the address, and use shift to press F7, F8 or F9 to pass the exception to the program. Now we need to press the shift press F9. So let's go ahead and run this one. Shift press F9. Now as you can see, there is int3 command at this address, that is the breakpoint. As you can see here, we have got this int3. So 4 into 3. Next instruction is going to be this one, 3 breakpoints. You can step through this. So this is the breakpoint. So we have successfully changed our program flow to the NaCH. So now let me show you in detail. Let me restart this. Let me run this one. Let me copy this address. Let me copy this address and say go to this expression. Paste this address here, and now I'm going to put the breakpoint here to show you how this is going to execute. Let's run our script again, and now press the shift F9 again. So now our breakpoint has been hit at ESS func dot this address, that is pop ret and pop EBX. We don't care what's going into the EBX. Now step through this one, pop ret. Now if you can see the return address, that is this one. So where is this top of the stack? You can see ESP this address. If you go to this dump 0x00 B7 EE4C. Alright, this one, I'm sorry. Alright, let's execute this one on return. So this, okay, sorry, 50, it's not 4C. I have just mistyped this one. So this 50, now it contains this this one CC. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm right. See, you can see 00B7FFDC. This one is int 3. So I'm right, I'm not wrong. Okay, you can type the ESP value which is pointing to this one. So in ASCII, I thought this some other characters. That's why I'm just confused. So it's int 3. So we have put the breakpoint and executed through the this step by step. Now let's restart. And now what we are going to do is we are going to generate the egg hunter. And as I have already told you, so let me so first let me create the egg hunter, and what we're going to do is instead of these EAs, I will send the shell code and also the egg hunter. So let me go ahead and create the first egg hunter using the Mona, and Mona egg hunter -t for tag, and say W00T root. You can also put the root as well, that's just a choice. So now my egg hunter has been executed. Let me go to this my computer and C drive and Mona and one server, and you can see the egg hunter here. So let me copy this one and let's say egg hunter is equals to, and paste this one. So you can also remove this one. So the egg hunter is ready, and we need to send the shell code instead of this junk ES. So let me go ahead and create the shell code. So MSF Venom Windows shell reverse underscore TCP and lhost. And I'm not going to find the bad characters now. I just put the normal bad characters 000A0D. You can also put the bad characters, and you can find out that it just takes much time. That's it. So now my shellcode is being generated. So what we are going to do is we are going to find out how many bytes we need to jump back. So let's say we are going to jump back 80 bytes, so that it will be like 4 into 20 rows. So jumping back 80 bytes, and then we will execute the egg hunter there, and this egg hunter will execute the shellcode. So we will send the shellcode instead of this yes. So we need to find this short jumper file. I don't know. So let's go ahead and say decimal to hex conversion. So let's say we're going to jump back 80 bytes. So I think it, yes, we have the short jumper. No need to problem. I thought I lost that one. So let me open this, and my shellcode has been generated now. Let's go ahead and copy this one. And let's say shellcode or reverse shell. So my reverse shell has been created. Now what I want to do is I will append the woot in front of this before this reverse shell. So that this egg hunter will find for woot, and from then onwards it will execute this shellcode, because it will just jump to the beside this woot. So my shellcode gets executed. So where we are going to send the shellcode instead of this, say junk is equals to reverse shell. So this reverse shell, and we are going to send yes into 3495 minus the length of the shellcode, so that it will be like dynamically, even though when we change the shellcode it won't get changed. So first we are going to send the reverse shell, and then some 3495 yes, and then we are going to send the NACH. So let me find out this short jumper. Let me execute this one. So I want to jump 80 bytes. Which direction you want to jump? I want to jump backwards. So EB B0. So let me paste it in here. B0, and I say /x90 to make sure that alignment is in the proper order. So our execution goes to SEH, and then pop operate gets executed, and then our execution goes to this NACH, and we will jump back 80 bytes, and then we will place that egg hunter here. So let me change it to A2 /x90, so that we don't care about this perfect alignment. So even though if we rendered before some knobs, these knobs are just like no operations, and we just slide through the shellcode. So we have got this reverse shell and the 3495 knobs up to NACH. Now what we are going to do is we are going to say egg hunter. So we have already defined the egg hunter, right? So we are going to paste this egg hunter just before this NACH. So we need to say minus reverse shell press egg hunter. So now there will be place to put the egg hunter, because first reverse shell it will take some 400 bytes, and then after we will place the some knobs, and also we will get the space for egg hunter. Now you can say egg, so you can say here the egg hunter. Now junk is equals to reverse shell, okay, that's fine. And then junk press is equals to, we need to append this one, right? And then after junk we need to press this egg hunter, and then NACH SEH, and then junk 2. So I hope that's all okay for this. Let me go ahead and set the breakpoint as we usually to just check that one, and go ahead, right click breakpoint toggle, and now let's go ahead and run our script. I think we have put correctly everything, so let me run ahead this script. So let me go ahead and run this netcat listener, since it's normal payload. So now type press the control shift F9. You can see the breakpoint here. Let's go through step by step. Pop operate, and we are going to jump backwards. Let's go ahead and run this. You can see we have landed on so many knobs. If you go and execute these knobs, so this is our egg hunter. Now this egg hunter gets executed, and our shellcode gets executed automatically, because this egg hunter searches for the shellcode and jumps to it. Now I'm directly click on running because it takes so much time. We got the command prompt. So we have successfully exploited this SEH overflows with the egg hunters. So basically in normal applications we have the code after this SEH handler, but I am just showing this demonstration to include the egg hunters also. So let me sum up this whole exploit once more. First we have overflowed junk up to NACH, and then whenever I press this control shift F9, so I am showing you again. So you don't need to press the shift F9. What you can do is you can run the binary without attaching it to immunity debugger. So now what you can do is simply run the exploit. That's it, you will get the shell. So we got the shell. We don't need to worry about this pressing shift F9 for exception. It will directly execute. So whenever there is an exception, this exception is caught with this handler, and we are going to override with pop address pointing to pop operate, and after that the return address will be our NACH, and then we are jumping backwards to this some knobs, and from their knobs onwards our egg hunter gets executed. This egg hunter searches for our shellcode hole in the memory with this tag. So it finds the woot because we have created the woot tag, and when it found this woot tag, the next it will jump to this next step. That is the next one is reverse shell. Obviously our reverse shell code gets executed. So that's all for this video. Once you practice this one, you will get very easily. It's a very easy SEH exploit. Once if you understood what we are doing, it's very easy one. So I hope you have understood one. I understood this one. Okay, that's all for this video.